Stefanski did that, stepped all the way out of the end zone. It's a safety, and that kills the play before everything else on the pick. So it is 7-5, and Trent Williams is shaken up for the Niners.
I don't know that I've ever seen a safety be a break for a team, but it certainly was there.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
Chess. Jimmy playing chess.
Wow.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Bobby Fischer.
All right. Larry Krueger joining us right now on 95.7 The Game. You can hear Larry periodically on 95.7. What's up, Larry? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Larry.
What's going on? Well, somehow we got to talking about Purdy and Garoppolo, and I'm trying to let you in on the conversation. Like, the one thing, like, there was a lot of enthusiasm for Jimmy Garoppolo at the start of his 49er career. Won 5 games, then got hurt the second year, then they started rolling. Is there any way Purdy will come back a little bit like Garoppolo came back a little bit?
Well, I mean, first of all, Steiny, he's never lost. So, I mean, if he loses, people will say, look, he came back to earth. And we know he's going to lose. So it's kind of it depends on what you mean by coming back. Jimmy regressed to the point where he couldn't throw the ball down the field or outside the numbers late in the down.
Okay.
I think there's going to be some regression just because Purdy set such a high standard. Right?
Let me ask you this then. What do you think that regression looks like?
Defenders in the middle of the field, jumping routes, and, a couple turnovers here and there, and maybe a game lost because he had a fourth quarter turnover where he's trying to thread the needle in the middle of the field, and a defender jumped the route, and I think it comes in the form of turnovers, but not. I mean, Brock's a real smart player, so I think it's going to be more about turnovers in small windows against really athletic defenses.
Larry, always good to talk to you. I'm sitting on the couch yesterday just watching other games and play calls, and my infatuation for the Niners and Kyle and what they do just grew. But we were having a conversation about the extensions. And to me, that's one, Larry, a sign that business is good. And two, that York thinks that Kyle's the guy and they're going to continue this. And if you look at the product on the field, how could you say otherwise? Your thoughts Friday when the news broke that they got the extensions?
It's well-deserved. I mean, these guys deserve those extensions. Shanahan's offense produces points and wins, and Lynch has perfected his craft as an untested first-time general manager. He has some of the deepest rosters in football on a regular basis, and I really believe and by the way, happy belated anniversary to you and yours.
Oh, LK. Thanks, man.
I was just going to say that I think Lynch is in some ways has carved out a brilliant look at free agency. He understands the dynamics of the locker room, and he also understands the dynamics of the cap and also the equation that results in compensatory selections in the draft. And the Niners are playing that thing like a fiddle right now. They're not going for mass free agents. They're going for top-tier guys. When you go to top-tier guys, your chemistry in the locker room is unchanged, and you let the majority of your free agents walk, which result in compensatory picks, and the 49ers are the 26th youngest team in pro football. So they've got an incredible bevy of superstars and depth. So I think both these guys deserve those extensions, and I think Jed was thrilled to give it to them.
Larry Krueger joining us on 95.7 The Game. You can catch Larry every 49ers home game at the Hilton Santa Clara with Lorenzo Neal on the kickoff show. So that means this Sunday at 11 o'clock, you can hear it right on 95.7 The Game. That's Lo Neal and Larry Krueger. Let me ask you this, Larry.
And Steiny, not to interrupt you, but Lo and I will be in the same church in the same pew.
Oh, well done.
That's a 4.
Well
Larry.
done. And don't forget that you can't play in the mud and get sick of the rain or whatever that thing. Complain about the sun. And I'm sure he'll struggle. Yeah. Now I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to ask.
Sorry.
I forgot our peels.
It was about something about the Niners. Oh, I know what it was. It was about Brock Purdy and kind of where he's going. How much of the offense? Well, here's what I'm going to say. Here's the one thing that it is starting to become obvious to me, or maybe not obvious, but it feels like, would you agree with me when I say I think Purdy works harder at being a quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo?
I think he's more wed to the process of pro football, which is what you do in all the days that aren't game day. And I know this one's going to be a little bit controversial, but I'll say it anyway. Brock Purdy's smarter than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a smarter person than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a smarter football player than Jimmy Garoppolo. He can digest more factors faster than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wow. Larry, right now it looks like you're right. Let me ask you this, because I haven't talked to you since the Rams game. And in that game, I was shocked, I'll be honest, that the Rams were able to win the time of possession. But after the game, it was like, you know what? There was no pressure from the Niner front because Stafford was getting rid of the ball. We know Bosa, no camp. What did you make of the Giants game? And any Niner fan or just football fan saying, okay, Larry, when are they going to just be super disruptive? Your thoughts?
Are you talking specifically about the Giants game on the defensive side? Jim?
Yes, sir. The Bosa, Hargrave, and the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, Hargrave is special. You can't out-leverage him. Bosa, I think, by looking at, just kind of how he moved around in the early practices when he got off the holdout, he clearly spent a lot of time in the weight room, and he's thickly muscled. And I just think it takes a few weeks to kind of loosen up and limber up. And, he's thick and strong. But, I don't know that he was quite as limber and as loose and as fluid and as, as a pass rusher, you kind of have to be kind of liquid. You got to kind of go where the opening is. And I just think that it's taken him a couple games to kind of get into his pass rush football mode. But, you're talking about two guys on a front four that need to be doubled. And so I think, and I'll give the Giants credit. I mean, Jones, I don't know if you saw the camera from the end zone, but he just looked befuddled a couple times and just looked almost, panicked by what he was seeing. But the Giants also have some decent weapons. I mean, even without Saquon Barkley, Waller is a fantastic tight end. Hodgins has got some wheels. I thought the interesting thing in that game is that the Giants, in my mind, should have tested the Niners the way they tested the Cardinals with that Jalen Hyatt rookie down the field, and they never did. And so, they really didn't have any explosives in that game, and the Niners out-yardaged them like almost 3-1, and time of possession them 2-1.
Larry Krueger joining us on 95.7 The Game, and we've got a super text that's come in on the YouTube chat, and it's from Jim Mole. He's paying $5 to say this.
Okay.
Shout out to Krug. First person on the Purdy bus, and the only one of us on Carrie Purdy's Xmas card list. I guess it's Carrie, Brock's wife or mom?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, shout out to you.
Mole said he was drinking with you boys down at the old ship a few weeks back.
Who is he?
Our guy.
Oh, Jim. Yeah, Jim. What's up, Jim?
Larry with the intel. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, Larry. Forget injuries. Let's say the 49ers stay relatively healthy this year. What do you think if they don't get it done? What do you think will get them beat outside of an injury or two?
A great football team, and there's a lot of great football teams right now. I mean, in the AFC, I did a video on this last night on my YouTube channel about look at Buffalo right now. Look at Miami right now. Look at Kansas City right now. Granted, it was the Bears. But those teams are monster. Dallas, if you catch them on the wrong day or if you fall behind, They're no picnic. And then Philly, the defending NFC champions. If the Niners turn it over, and there's only so many possessions in an NFL game. If the Niners go up against any of those 5 other teams and they turn it over a couple times, they can get beat. The NFL.
Yeah, Larry, I came in today and I told Steiny, I'm going to use old stock term, diversify your portfolio. I look at the Niners and the way Debo's playing, and they got McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk. It's just too much to stop. And the only other team, Larry, before the ball is hiked, and I saw this on display yesterday, they scored 70, is McDaniel's offense. Can you just speak? Did he get those concepts from Kyle? And do you see any of Colin when you're watching Dolphin games?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I don't know if Kyle got it from McDaniel or if McDaniel got it from Kyle.
Wow.
But they're both genius. And as far as McDaniel, that's the greatest collection of speed weapons the league has ever seen.
Wow.
I mean, they put up 70 yesterday, guys. They didn't have Jalen Waddle.
He didn't play. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Larry, you worried about Arizona?
No, I'm not worried about Arizona.
Led at halftime of their first 3 games.
Yeah, no, they're going to fight hard, but they're very beatable. I mean, right now the 49ers, I think, have 2 things going. They score 30 a game, and they got a killer defense. And they got 2 guys on their front 4 that can't have to be doubled. They got 2 of the best linebackers in the game. They got some playmakers and ball hawks in the back end with Hufanga and Gibson. I guess my biggest concern with the Niners, guys, is the corner depth, the DN depth, and a little bit of the offensive line. But I don't think Arizona's got enough to beat them. I mean, I'll say this. The key to beating Arizona, Steiny, is limit their explosives. Hollywood Brown and the quarterback Dobbs, and I mean, they just got a lot of explosive talent. Rondale Moore. If you limit their explosives, they can't beat you.
Yeah, and they were all on display because Dallas, they just sleptwalked through that game. Larry, don't laugh at this because the last time we hooked up and did a show, I asked you about this player on the defensive side of the ball. And when I look at his numbers, the stat sheet, they don't pop out. But, Larry, I feel like Kinlaw, like the light is on. I saw him bat down a ball, and I know they want him to do more. Is that just me seeing him being a bit more active, or would you say you still need to see more from him?
Man, that's my guy, man. I love Kinlaw. I mean, I love talking to him. He's a very interesting guy. Even though he's a behemoth of a man, Goo, he's a very sensitive guy. The criticism that he's received has bothered him. He's leaned on Eric Armstead. There's no doubt. Those knees are healthy. He's playing with leverage. He's not going to fill up the stat sheet. He's there for others to succeed. So he's going to absorb offensive linemen, and Greenlaw and Warner are going to pile up, solo tackles. He's there to absorb doubles and free up Bosa and Drake Jackson to go sack the quarterback. But he's healthy. He's playing with leverage. He's in a great frame of mind. And, he's just after it right now. And I'll tell you, he's a good dude, too, man. I walked up to him the other day, and I'm like, hey, Javon, you got a couple minutes? And he's like, yeah. And before I got the mic rolling and the camera and the whole thing, he's like, how's your family doing? And we started talking about our families and stuff. I mean, the guy's a great guy. I think he's a little misunderstood, and it's go time for Javon, and he knows it, and he's making it happen.
Larry, thank you as always,
Appreciate
man.
it, buddy.
Appreciate it.
No Kapler and
Okay.
Farhan?
Okay.
I saw your list of who you would hire. You had everybody
I
blown
like where
out.
the Giants are at.
Tell Larry you're playing, please.
He knows me.
Oh, okay. Right. Larry, they're coming back, but, man, this is bad. I thought this season ended bad. The series to the Rockies. And now you're talking about reporters, writers writing articles about players don't have confidence. That's the manner. Like, I can't even believe that was written, but it looks like this is who you brought to the dance and you're going to be with next year.
I just thought it was hilarious that Verducci, who's not a henchman, he doesn't do hit pieces, he called their entire thing tedious but efficient. I'm thinking about maybe making a T-shirt and selling it that says Giants baseball, tedious but efficient.
That's not bad. That's not bad. It's kind of like torture, right? Isn't that one that everybody glommed onto?
Go get Mike Trout and try to get Ohtani, Larry.
Okay. All right, Larry. Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good week.
All right, fellas. Take care.
All right. Once again, you can catch Larry Krueger every 49er home game at the Hilton Santa Clara with Lorenzo Neal on the kickoff show this Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. Hear it all on 95.7 The Game.